I would love nothing more than to visit the hallowed grounds of the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, but I won't until they correct one very critical omission. Hey, y'all, Snowman here, and I'm getting on my soapbox today because I want to talk to the sports fans, historians, and the lovers of the truth. I am one of the loudest voiced advocates for a fellow who deserves his day in Canton, Ohio. And after finding out he's one of the finalists because of the senior committee, this omission needs to be needs to be corrected is the word I'm looking for. See? We're talking about a man who was so far ahead of his time that coaches didn't even have the vocabulary to describe what he was. A man whose versatility rewired the sport from the ground up. A man who still isn't in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, who still doesn't have his bust in Canton or his gold jacket, which is nothing short of a disgrace. And that man is Roger Craig. And let me be very clear. I am not stepping foot into Canton, Ohio, or the Pro Football Hall of Fame until his bust is in the room where it has always belonged. Let me clear this up for everyone who thinks they know the Roger Craig story. Before he became an NFL superstar, before he fashioned the first thousand season in NFL history, before he turned the West Coast offense into a defensive nightmare, would you believe Roger Craig was a fullback? That's right. At the University of Nebraska, in Tom Osborne's power option offense, he wasn't the guy the offense was designed around. He was a bruiser, a battering ram, a blocker, a lead man whose job was clearing the way for someone else, like Mike Rozier, perhaps. Let that sink in a minute. The man who revolutionized the dual threat running back, the man who became the prototype for Marshall Faulk, Alvin Kamara, and Christian McCaffrey, the man whose thousand season still echoes through NFL playbooks, began his career at a position designed for dirty work, self-sacrifice, and no glory at all. And yet, he still became a superstar. He became a historic offensive weapon, and he still changed the position forever. I challenge you to name me another Hall of Fame candidate who began as a fullback, played like a running back, caught like a wide receiver, blocked like a tight end, and carried a dynasty's offense through not one, not two, but 3 Super Bowl championships. I got a little time. I'll wait. But let me tell you this. When Roger Craig stepped onto the field in 1983, NFL defenses didn't know what to do with him. How could they? You had a fullback-sized athlete who at the time was 6 feet tall and 221 pounds, with the acceleration of a halfback, the route running of a slot receiver, and hands soft enough to lead the entire NFL, yes, the whole league, in receptions in 1985. He had 92 of them. A fullback led the NFL in receptions. That alone should have punched his ticket to Cameron decades ago. That alone should have punched his ticket to Canton decades ago. But Roger Craig wasn't just catching passes. He was terrorizing defenses. He was shifting alignments. He was forcing coordinators to rip up game plans. He was creating mismatches and mistakes before those words even became part of football vocabulary. And then came the season that should have made him a first ballot Hall of Famer. Forget the fact that he was the first player to score 3 touchdowns in the Super Bowl. He did that in Super Bowl 19. Forget the fact that he was Offensive Player of the Year in 1988. Forget the fact that he has several 1,000-yard rushing seasons. I want you to take a look at 1985. He had 1,050 rushing yards and 1,016 receiving yards. And he crossed both marks in the final game of the season, week 16, wouldn't you know it, against the Dallas Cowboys. Sorry, Victor. He also led the league, as I mentioned before, in receptions. He had 92 receptions. He also coupled that with 15 touchdowns. And yet, from a man who was drafted as a fullback, he didn't become a running back until the Niners drafted Tom Rathman. And he was the fullback that was in front of Wendell Tyler. You cannot tell the story of football without this moment. You cannot teach the West Coast offense, which is predicated on running, for those of you who know the offense, without this moment. You cannot analyze modern running backs without honoring the man who made them possible. 3 Super Bowls, multiple deep playoff runs, a Hall of Fame quarterback in Joe Montana, a Hall of Fame coach in Bill Walsh, a Hall of Fame receiver in Jerry Rice, a Hall of Fame safety in Ronnie Lott, and right in the center of it all, the man who held the offense together like connective tissue was Roger Craig. His high knee power running style became iconic. His receiving ability allowed Walsh to expand the West Coast blueprint. His blocking allowed Montana timing routes to flourish. His toughness set the tone for one of the greatest teams ever assembled. Ask the 84 Dolphins. Ask the 88 Bears. Ask the 89 Broncos. They all saw what happened when Roger Craig got going. The avalanche began. And nobody, and a snowman means nobody, could stop it. 13,100 yards from scrimmage, 73 touchdowns, 3 Super Bowl championships, an All-Pro, a 4-time Pro Bowler, the NFL leader in receptions as a fullback, again, that year, 1985, 1,800 postseason yards, a key player in 3 championship offenses. There is no Hall of Very Good argument here. This is Hall of Fame impact. This is Hall of Fame innovation. This is Hall of Fame production. And yet, because of a fumble, among other things that happened on January 13th, 1991, when the Niners were going for a three-peat, that became one of the main reasons they keep him out. People ask me all the time who my top 5 running backs are. I don't have 5. I have 3, and they're all Hall of Famers. 2 of them actually are. 1 needs to be. The 2 that are, Walter Payton and Barry Sanders. The third one, the one that needs to be, Roger Craig. Because Craig doesn't fit in the box that limits running backs. He shattered the box. He blew it up. He built the new one and then blew that one up. He gave the league a new definition of offensive weapon. He gave the league a new definition of jackknife running back. Yeah, I said that word, jackknife. And I say this proudly. And I've said it for over 20 years. Roger Craig belongs in Canton right alongside Sweetness and Barry and Eric Dickerson and Terrell Davis and other running backs like O.J. Simpson, who came before him, Jim Brown, who came before him, and the many that have come after him. The senior committee, I get Belichick. I get Robert Kraft. Fine. 6 championships, you can't argue with that. But this cannot, more to the point, this must not push Roger Craig aside again. He has waited long enough. He has accomplished more than enough. He has transformed the sport enough. I've had many people ask me, why do you campaign so hard for Roger Craig being in the Hall of Fame? He doesn't have the statistics. That may be true, but he has the impact. And that's how I judge a Hall of Famer, on impact. And until the Hall of Fame corrects this mistake, I am not stepping foot inside. This is a strike. This is a stand. This is a line drawn in Vegas championship gold ink with red scarlet flowing through my veins. The bust room is incomplete. The history is incomplete. The hall is incomplete until Roger Craig is enshrined. To the voters, to the keepers of the game's legacy, to the senior committee tasked with fixing the mistakes of the past. You want to tell the true story of football? You want to honor innovators? You want to recognize the pioneers of the evolution of this sport? Then put in the man who revolutionized the running back position, changed offensive philosophy across the league, elevated a dynasty, produced unprecedented numbers. Yeah, I said it, unprecedented numbers, and did it all after starting his career as a fullback. This is not a debate. This is not a stretch. This is not a maybe. This is a correction that is long overdue. John Rooney said after the White Sox won the World Series in 2005, enjoy the celebration, Chicago. This is long overdue. Well, enshrine Roger Craig. Do it now. Do it with pride because it's necessary. Do it because football history demands it. And until that happens, as much as I love the Pro Football Hall of Fame, as much as I would love to set foot in the Hall of Fame, I'm not doing it until Roger Craig is enshrined and a mistake is long corrected. That's Snowman's take. What's yours? Thanks for watching, everybody. Catch Snowman in the morning every day, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. If you like what you see and what you hear, don't forget to comment, like, and share. Spread the word about this channel. And also go to GoFundMe.com and search Snowman's Road to Recovery as my family and I fight back from health issues. Thanks, everybody. God bless you.